Alright, so I decided to go ahead and redo my parallel tutorial because I wanted to get a better quality video, so we're just going to hope and pray that that's what this ends up being. This is going to be a comprehensive parallel tutorial, so we'll start with the very basics. If you're brand new to parallels, I will show you how to even start doing a parallel, and from there I will walk you through a bunch of different ways to actually prep to do them, a bunch of different ways to catch them. So if you're brand new, start right here. If you want to learn some cool fancy tricks and different ways to do parallels, just fast forward a little bit till you get to a trick or one that you like. So I would like you to actually have your flag out if you're going to be following along with this tutorial. If you're brand new to parallels, the first thing you need to know is the reason it's called a parallel is because the toss is going to be in a plane that is parallel to the ground. So when you do other tosses, they're in a plane that matches your body. So if I'm going to do a flourish toss, it's going to stay in this plane with me, but if I'm going to do a parallel toss, it's going to be in the parallel plane. Woo. So if you're brand new to it, I know that looks really scary. Obviously, it's easy to get bonked in the head with these. Here's how I want you to start, just to practice, just to get comfortable. Grab your flag. You're going to put your flag in what is called right tuck. To get into this position, you can have it at right flat, where the flag is on the right side and it's flat in front of you. That's why it's called right flat. Put your right hand under, right here at the base, tuck it under your arm. This is called right tuck, so if anybody ever says go to right tuck, this is what they're referring to. Again, grab under the flag, tuck it into your arm right here. Just to begin with, all I want you guys to do is to start going like this. That's it. From right tuck, we're just going to spin the flag on top of our head, stop right here, and then go back, because I want you to get used to and comfortable with the idea that this is your release point. That you want the flag perfectly parallel above your head. You're going to release it right here when you eventually do toss. So do this a couple times, guys, until you get very comfortable with that concept. The next thing I want you to do is you're going to do a thumb roll on top of your head. So rather than stopping here, we're going to use that momentum and we're going to let the flag roll on the meaty part of our thumb right here. We're just going to let it roll in this plane and then catch it right here, because this is ideally where you will start catching your parallel tosses, so let's get used to it now. Thumb roll in the plane above your head, catch it right here. Do that over and over again. This is all muscle memory. Once you get really comfortable with it, it's gonna come so easy to you guys. When you do that a couple times and you get comfortable with that, the next thing I want you to do is the tiniest toss you've ever seen, okay? It's not even really a toss. This time, I kind of caught that in the flag. Let's see if I can catch it elsewhere. I want you to basically just toss it right above, there we go, that's what I want. Right above your head. So from this point right here, all you're gonna do is actually release it in the air and then just re-catch it. And it'll look like that. Barely even let go of it for a second. It barely even spun above my head, but it's just getting you comfortable with being in that plane and catching it right here. It's just like that thumb roll you did, except you're going to release it for 1 second and then catch it. Now, once you get really comfortable with this concept and you want to move on to a big parallel, don't try to do a big parallel the first time and catch it. Don't ever try to catch a new toss you do for the first time. When I'm starting a toss, I do this, and I've done color guard forever. When I'm starting a new toss, I throw it out in front of me over and over again until I can get comfortable with how much I need to put on it height-wise, how much I need to put on it spin-wise, and where it's gonna land. So I know exactly how much I need to put on it for me and where I'm gonna catch it. So the first time you go to do a parallel from tuck, just like this, and there's a little bit of wind here, maybe I should do it going this way. The first time you do it, here's what I want you to do. Throw it out in front of you. I guarantee you, if you are brand new to color guard and you are brand new to doing parallel tosses, the first instinct you're gonna have is to spin too much with not enough height. That is a recipe for whacking yourself in the head. So you need to get very good at and comfortable with high release point, not a lot of spin, okay? So that. Anytime you do any toss in color guard, the flag will go where your hand ends up. You'll see, I play beach volleyball too. I played volleyball my whole life. So muscle memory and form is really important. It's really important you practice the same form over and over again and you keep it consistent so you keep that muscle memory. When you toss your flag, in any toss you're doing, parallel or not, you should always land like this. Your hand will guide where the flag goes. So when you do that parallel toss, stop. Stop and look at your hand, because that's how you know where that flag is going. So when you're trying to toss it in front of you, when I'm trying to toss it in front of me, whoa, my hand is way out there. I would never land my hand like that if I'm tossing it to myself, because I want it to go straight up and down. So get really used to throwing it out in front of you and seeing how much height and how much spin you need to put on it. That was a little too close. The other thing you want to see is where the flag lands consistently. So when you get a good height and a good spin that you can do consistently and is comfortable. So for me, that's a comfortable height and spin for me. I want to see where the flag lands in relation to where I'm going to catch it, so the left side. So it looks like to me, I am most comfortable with a toss where I end up catching it right here. Eventually you will get to a point where you understand how much height and spin to put on it to be able to do tosses that are 1 full spin, 1.5 spins, 2 spins. You'll get really good at that. Don't worry about that right now. When you get comfortable enough with this out in front of you toss, that's when you go, okay, now I'm gonna do that to myself, but I'm just gonna make it nice and small and try to jump in there. Ooh, hopefully you don't have to do a squat for it. Let me make it higher. Try to jump in and catch it. If you ever don't feel comfortable catching it, you get under the flag and you're about to catch it and everything goes wrong, you should just throw it to the side. Boop. Nah. You need to protect yourself first before you learn how to do anything. Do not be afraid to hurt this flag. Do not be afraid to let it fall on the ground if you're not comfortable. So follow those steps if you're brand new to parallels and you want to learn them for the first time. Go back, grab your flag, do all of those things in order till you get really comfortable. If you already are pretty comfortable with parallels and you want to learn some cool tricks, I'm going to show you various ways to do parallels this is my favorite toss in the world, so I wanted to start with this tutorial here. So obviously I really like to do parallels from tuck because it's just easy. In my opinion, it's just the easiest way to just toss it, right? When I was first learning color guard, I was taught a parallel with a prep, because anytime you have a prep on a toss, it gives you a little more oomph, right? It gives you some more energy. The prep that I was tossed was a thumb roll prep out in front of me. So it looks like this. So I start at right flat, I have my right hand under, but as I go to spin it, the flag actually rolls on my thumb like that before I toss it. So it looks like this. Ooh. And that is how I was taught how to do parallels. And as you can see, it gives me a lot more height when I have a big prep in front of me like that than if I were to just start here with no prep, having to use all of my own energy. So that's one really cool way you can do a parallel. You can also do a parallel, and this is a little more advanced, from cradle. So like we just talked about before, you know we have tuck. If you take your tuck position and you roll the pole right in your arm like this, is called cradle. These parallels have a little more angle on them. They're not quite completely parallel. They are so cool though. If you become comfortable, they are ones where you are more likely to whack yourself in the head. So just be ready for that. And you're just gonna toss it. You're not gonna get a lot of height and you're not gonna get a lot of spin. It's not easy to get it to even stay parallel at all. But once you get it down, it is one of the coolest tosses that no one expects. Nobody expects you to be here and then suddenly toss yourself a parallel. It's also one that when you get really good at it, you can catch it also in cradle. And then you can do the same thing with your left hand going back the other way, which is pretty flippin' cool, right? The last one I'm gonna show you guys is the parallel with the silk. There are many ways to do this one as well. So you can do a silk hold. This is also gonna be from right tuck. So I basically start here. I grab the bottom of my silk. I pull it with my left hand until it is tight. You don't wanna necessarily have this entire, get just to the point. You wanna get to however long your arms are to a point where this is tight, you have a good grip of it. Then you're gonna do your normal toss while still holding the flag, and you can catch it with your right hand right here. If you're not comfortable continuing to hold the silk, you can toss, let go, and then grab it just like you normally would, doing one full spin in the air. The coolest thing you can do with this is you can toss it, let it come around, and then grab it and cradle. This is one that took me, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it took me weeks, potentially months, of screwing that up, of hitting myself in the head, of letting it drop, of running away from it before I got comfortable enough to catch it in cradle. I saw somebody do it on YouTube. I thought it was the coolest thing I've ever seen. I was like, I'm gonna learn this. And it was not an easy thing to learn because you are so scared of whacking yourself in the head. You gotta just keep trying, man. You gotta just keep trying and you're gonna get it. Because once you get that one down, there are just so many cool things you can do with that trick. You don't have to catch it in cradle. You can catch it other ways and then immediately go into like other tosses and tricks and stuff. But anyway, that's one of the coolest ones. You're gonna have to practice that one a lot on your own. If you have any other questions, if there's anything that I didn't get specific enough about in this video, please leave me a comment or message me, let me know. I understand that there's a lot more to it that I didn't necessarily dive into, but I hope that you learned something from that and just keep up the color garden.